WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
My name is Watson.
And my name is Mariah.
We're 12 years old.
And we're representing Old Redford Academy Middle School.
And we're here to talk about drugs.
Drugs are very dangerous and unhealthy.
And they can also ruin a relationship with your loved ones. Go talk to a family member, a friend, even a teacher, or you can go to a therapist, or if you need any extra help, you can go online and find all of those.
Hashtag not worth it.
Good day, good people, and welcome to another episode of Expose Under the Sun. I am your co-host, Heather Hedheru, and my second co-host, Darren Griffin, will be joining us next Tuesday as we rotate every other week on a new and dynamic show. And so today, our topic, as always, is around community wellness. But our guest is going to help give us some insight on how giving time is good for the soul. So, you know, I have a ritual that before we get started, we talk about two things. We talk about first, how to find your joy, because we have a monthly challenge going on that every month we're supposed to find 10 new ways to find your joy. So every week I try to give you at least 3, so you can add my 3 to your 7 and then get yourself your 10 ways to find your joy for the month. So today I'm going to share 3 of my favorite ways to find my joy. So the first one, and I'm sure I have other people who feel the same way, my first way to find my joy is bird watching. I absolutely love cardinals, and if I can't find a cardinal, then I'm looking for the blue jay. So one of my ways of finding my joy and peace is to stay centered, listen for the voice of the cardinal, and then also if I can't find a cardinal, always looking for a blue jay. Both of them are amazing birds, and if you like bird watching and you have a bird feeder, if you don't, that's one way to capture those birds that have to come and visit you to get something to eat. So that's one way to get them. The second one is bubbles. I love bubbles. Now, you can get those at the dollar store. You can get the big ones with the big wands and make huge bubbles, or you can get the smaller little ones that you can make smaller bubbles. You can get a bubble maker, bubble machine. Either way, you can't miss on having bubbles. More bubbles, the better. Okay. And then my third one is actually hugs. So because we are moving through this COVID stage, still be safe, but one of the other ways to get your joy is for hugs. And if you're not able to find a person or you don't have a person to hug, Hershey's provides a really good chocolate hug. Get yourself a bag of Hershey's chocolate hugs. Okay. So, well, you have to have a way to find your joy. The other thing I want to remind you of this month and this year of 2022, that it is a manifesting year. So we have to be mindful of what we say. So we're going to talk about what we want and not what we don't want. We want to be empowered and affirm the things that we want to see in our lives, in our families, and in our community. And we do that through what we say and how we say it. We mean what we say. All right. So I want to introduce you to my guest today. This is Christy English. She is our expert on volunteerism. She's going to share a little bit about herself, but our first question to her is, how do you find your joy?
So we must be on the same wavelength, because I jotted some stuff down and I said bird watching, but I have a little caveat to mine. Mine is sitting on my porch watching our bird feeder with my husband. He's drinking his coffee, and I'm drinking my tea with lemon. And we just watch the birds. So we attract them. We've been playing around with different types of bird feed.
Okay.
So I think we got the sweet spot one. The secret is the sunflower seeds. Got to get the sunflower seeds.
Yes, I just found that too. Yeah.
It attracts not only birds, but mischievous squirrels. Just recently, we had some ducks that ventured over to our property, which was just amazing because we don't have water. So it was nice to see the ducks. But that's really one way that just helps me let my hair down, and enjoy the day. What else? Anything delicious? I love lemon, obviously, with my lemon in my tea, but I love lemon cake. So if I can get that perfect lemon cake, it brings me so much joy, so much so that my mouth is watering right now thinking about it.
I understand.
Am I supposed to give 3?
You can give as many as you like.
Okay. The other one I think would be I find joy in helping others, and I'm going to talk a lot about that today, I'm sure, but really just being able to be a resource or able to do something for somebody else, it makes me happy. So I don't necessarily need the reciprocal. My husband would disagree with that, but I really think just giving to someone else makes me happy at the end of the day.
And so how does your joy connect to overcoming stress? Because that's the bigger issue. We have to have ways to help us to reset from anger, from disappointment, and from stress. So how do you relieve your stress?
Those are really ways that I relieve my stress. Well, first, especially when I have a long day, I make a lot of decisions. I'm trying to, keep all the balls up in the air all day. So when I go home, I sit in my nice big chair, lift my feet up, and just don't think about anything. And so I like mindless TV, not reality shows, but just anything that can take me off of me, just for a little while. It gets me grounded. It keeps me in a happy space. I love rom-coms.
What's a rom-com?
Romantic comedies.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
That's a new term for me.
So just watching those and laughing and just the idea of somebody else being happy, I think is really one of the things that keeps me calm, brings me back down, helps me relate to my level of happiness. And yeah, so that's really, I think at the end of the day, a long, stressful day, if I can just get half an hour even, of just relaxation, sitting down, not thinking about anything, not having to make any decisions, I'm a happy camper. And then I can do whatever else after that.
Okay. That's awesome. So kind of finding that quiet time, that time where you called it mindless, right?
Yes.
Where you don't have to make any particular decisions or choices. Awesome. All right. So I want to ask you a couple more questions. So let's talk about volunteerism. Can you talk about why it's important to volunteer?
For those of you who have volunteered before, you know that feeling you get by providing a service to someone else. It's a selfless act. You're not getting anything out of it. Most of the time, you're not getting anything out of it except doing something great for someone else. So that act of kindness, that sometimes you're stepping out of your comfort zones. You're going into areas that you may not know before. You're doing things that you may not do in your regular day-to-day. But you're really just, digging in and just being a part of something that's bigger than you. It's huge. A colleague of mine sent me an article this morning. I was like, this is right on time. But just the impacts of volunteering, it helps you socialize, because again, you may be working with people you may not have worked with before, or you may be working with people that you worked with before in a different space. So now you have a different conversation. So you're out. I'm gonna give a shout out to Forgotten Harvest, out at their farm. I think it's It's off 23. I can't remember the city. But you're digging in the soil, pulling up whatever vegetables they are harvesting at that time, or planting those seeds for someone else. So once they grow, you dig them up and they're going to someone's home. Someone's going to eat that food that you put your hands in the dirt. You put your energy in that dirt. You put your time and everything else that came with you that day in the dirt to provide something for someone else. How huge is that? So when I say bigger than you, it's bigger than you. When you're packing a box at Focus Hope, because I'm gonna, take it back home. I'm a manager of volunteer services at Focus Hope. But when you're packing that food box, again, I say a lot of times when I'm doing my overviews, be mindful of your energy, because that energy is going with you with that box to someone's home, into their home, into their bellies, ingesting that, and that's what you're reproducing out there in the world. So when you're packing the box, just be mindful of what you're doing. But again, it's a box for somebody you don't know. We service, throwing numbers out, we service 41,000 people every month.
I'm sorry. Step back. Did you say 41,000 people?
Yes, senior citizens in the Metro Detroit area. Not just Detroit, which is sometimes people think we're just servicing Detroit, but we service Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and Washtenaw counties.
41,000 people a month.
Yes.
A month.
Yes.
Like 30 days, within 30 days.
Within 30 days, and then we started all over again on the first. Yeah, so that's huge.
That's huge.
So volunteering is important. Obviously, we couldn't do that work without the help of volunteers. For us, we have about the pandemic, although we took a hit. We had you find out who are dedicated people when they're coming in during a pandemic. Masks, gloves, social distancing, but they're there every week packing those boxes. Not just packing, but delivering those boxes. Again, going into that space that's unknown to them. They don't know if those homes have COVID. They don't know if those homes have dogs in their yard, but they're going out there because they know someone couldn't get out their home because of this pandemic, so they wanted to make sure that they had their food. So they go, making smart choices. My colleagues started a process for a knock and drop, so they didn't have to directly engage with anyone, so they're knocking at the door, putting the box by the door and calling them and letting them know that their box is there, but at least someone's getting some food. The last 2 years have been very rough, but we've had a great volunteer support at Focus Hope and through other organizations around. I know I'm going to go back and forth with Forgotten Harvest. I keep up with them quite a bit, but they did a great job with their pop-up locations where they would pop up and bring food to the communities. Again, just ways to make sure that people had what they needed. But that was all supported by volunteers. People again, and so we had a lot of folks that were home because of COVID and they couldn't go back to work, but they wanted to engage with others. So that was a way that they did it. They would go out, volunteer for a few hours, and then they're back at home. But they get that warm and fuzzy, but at the same time, they're helping somebody else. They're helping the communities that they live in. Maybe there aren't communities that they live in, but it's the overall Metro Detroit community, and we're all working together to make sure everybody's taking care of one another. And it's just a beautiful feeling. Some of the thank you cards we received just melt your heart. I wasn't going to say break your heart, but it's beautiful. The thank yous, when people pull up and get their food, we've had folks cry, just saying thank you so much. Without this wouldn't have happened. Or I have a neighbor who has a need that, is too scared to come out the house or doesn't want to ask for help, but they need the help. They'll let me in, so I'm coming to pick this box up. You hear all kinds of stories about the need on the other end, but you're fulfilling that need by standing in that gap and being that person to hand that box over. It's not a small thing at all. It really is just a passion-driven calling, if you will. So if you're one of those folks who are thinking about volunteering, definitely do it. If you're only given an hour, and again, I'm going to go back through the pandemic. It's opened up other opportunities for people, or other opportunities for us. We even have a virtual assignment that you can do from the comforts of your home and your cell phone. Okay. Reading stories to children. We have an early learning center at Focus Hope. The children are ages 6 weeks old to 5 years old. Well, 6-week-old may not exactly understand what you're saying, but they hear the tone, they hear the words. So when those folks those volunteers are reading those stories to the children, that's active learning, that's listening. Those are all the engaging functions that you need as a child, but you're able to do that right from home. And that's something you can do once, you can do 30 times, hint, hint, if you want to do some virtual volunteering. But it really is, it's still an active service. You're still taking time out of your day, your resources, because you're using your cell phone data to record, you're sending that information over. It's something that you actively have to um, for lack of a better word, volunteer to do, but it's still something that's doing something for someone else. I know this is a long answer. I'm sorry. I'm just passionate about volunteering.
That makes perfect sense, and it actually kind of phases into a couple of other questions that I had. So the first one is, if you want to volunteer at Focus Hope, how do you do that? How do you share that with our audience, please?
There are a few ways you can sign up. The easiest way, the less pressure way, is to go on our website. Our volunteer website is on Focus Hope's website, focushope.edu. So that's FOCUSHOPE.edu. You can go to the Get Involved tab and then right to volunteering. There it has all of the listings of opportunities that we have available. We have volunteer opportunities. Like I said, I mentioned the virtual volunteer opportunity, but we also have additional support on site, which you can find on our website Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then most Saturdays, most Saturday mornings. Saturdays fill up quite fast because those are really opportunities that youth are able to come volunteer. Individuals typically take up those Saturdays, but that's still an option. You can call us. Our volunteer phone number is 313-494-4270. And then you can also email us at volunteer@focushope.edu and get in touch with us, and we'll put you where we need you to go.
So thank you very much. So give us a little bit of insight into you as an individual. So we've heard a lot about what you do as a volunteer, but tell us a little bit about you. Where did that come from? Where did giving back and being good for the soul, giving time, because that is a large part of what volunteer is giving your time, right?
Yes.
So where does that come from for you?
I had to think about that. When did this start? When was the seed planted? My first active volunteerism or active service, I don't know.
That you can remember.
That I can remember. I don't know how old I was, but we went Christmas caroling in our neighborhood. And I was so embarrassed at the time. I remember walking around all bundled up because it was cold. But we went door to door, and we also went to a community or senior center and sung Christmas carols at the senior center. At the time, again, I'm still shy, but at the time I was very shy. But, the seniors came downstairs. I remember them coming down and listening to us sing. And the smiles, it was the smiles that did it for me. And that's what I remember. I remember the building very vividly. It was in our community, but not directly close to my home. So it was quite a distance to get there. But just remembering the responses is what I took back from that. Again, I'm sure it was freezing outside, but I remember the expressions and the smiles and how fun it was. So that was the first time I remember volunteering. Throughout my years, oh my gosh, I volunteered with my family. I volunteered at community centers. I've done neighborhood cleanups. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, so of course that's one of our principles of service. So never a short supply in my college days, going to community soup kitchens or doing food drives or whatever the case may be to make sure we're getting the word out and support our local communities. I volunteer with March of Dimes, doing fundraising and walks. Let's see, what else? Meals on Wheels. I've done Meals on Wheels before. Again, a host of things, and working in the space now where I'm trying not to mention anything I do at work because I work in the volunteer department, but I get to participate in the activities. So I get to deliver food boxes, and I get to pack food boxes, and hold up signs outside or whatever the case is that needs to get done. So I get to fulfill that love of volunteerism every day. I also get to support the teams. We always forget about the folks that have to coordinate all that, but I have a fantastic department that really digs in, and so that feeds off through not just the volunteer department that coordinated the volunteers, it's the folks that work with the volunteers to make sure they have the supplies they need. So that's the high-low drivers, that's the administrative team, that's the folks that are making the phone calls to the seniors, telling them the food boxes are coming. Anyway, so all of that, I get a chance to sometime, or hopefully I'm giving enough thank yous. But I have a chance to make sure that the team has what they need, to make sure the volunteers are taken care of, to make sure that the community that we're serving is taken care of. So it's all connected. But so I get to live my love of volunteerism every day is the long and the short of that.
Well, I mean, so one of my questions was about what your passion was, but clearly, clearly outside of bird watching, volunteerism is your passion. So that we don't lose momentum, let's give them another chance to know how to volunteer if they want Focus Hope to be that outlet, and they can do it from home. They can do it in person.
Yes.
There are lots of ways for them to volunteer. Give us the information again, please.
Sure. Lots of ways to volunteer. First, you can go on our website, which is focushope.edu. You can call the number and somebody will assist you. That's 313-494-4270. Or you can email us and someone will respond to you as quickly as possible. And that email address is volunteer@focushope.edu. You can also go on United Way's website. We are directly connected to United Way. So if Focus Hope is not the area that you want to volunteer in, I'm going to promote Focus Hope. It's a wonderful organization, but there's no short supply of volunteer services needs. So United Way has a plethora of volunteer opportunities as well. You can go directly on their website to find out Focus Hope's opportunities and others as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So this has been so awesome, and I can't say that I've seen or met other people who have the love and enthusiasm that you have for volunteerism. So clearly, because our show, the title of our show is about giving time being good for the soul. Mm-hmm. I mean, just your expression of it, you can tell, you're glowing, you're radiant when you're talking about giving. So talk about, if there are people who are, like you mentioned, being shy, or you mentioned that people may have some apprehension about the current and the passing, we're going to call it passing crisis of COVID that people are facing, and other things that may hold them back. What advice would you give to encourage people to press through those types of feelings?
Just give it a try. It's a volunteer opportunity. It's not a job. So once you sign up, you can sign up for one shift or 1 hour or one experience and never do it again if it's not your thing. But I can just about guarantee you're going to love it, or you're going to love the idea of it and look for it in the space that you were in or somewhere else. Volunteering is infectious, and you don't recognize a lot of times when you're doing it. Taking your neighbor that one of those food boxes, that's volunteering. You're doing something that nobody paid you to do, nobody made you do, nobody forced you to do. You wanted to do it because your neighbor needed that box. So that's volunteering. So don't think that you're not doing a service just because it's not on a volunteer portal and you didn't sign your name in and get points for it. So if you've done something like that, you've already taken that step. Just take it a step further and then get it organized and be on the volunteer portal and get some recognition for it. But I encourage someone to take baby steps. If you're not comfortable leaving your home, you have transportation issues, do a virtual volunteer opportunity. There are several ways to volunteer with Focus Hope. Again, that's the only virtual opportunity we have currently. But if you want to come out to Focus Hope, we are, what is the word? I lost my train of thought. We are working through this past season, and still maintaining safety. So we're still encouraging people to stay home that are not feeling well. There are a lot of organizations that are still very strong on the protocols, the COVID protocols, wearing your mask, social distancing, hand washing stations. There's no short supply of hand sanitizer anywhere. So we're still keeping those things in mind. So if you're comfortable coming out, please, enjoy the experience of being with others. And you'll probably get to know somebody that you've never met before, a different walk of life, a different level of interest. And you never know, this may be your lifelong friend. My mother is I'm going to say a senior. I won't give her a direct age. And she's volunteering and absolutely loving it. She comes out and she makes phone calls to other seniors to do kind of wellness checks and just check in with them. It's a socialization. So who knows where this will lead? She's gotten friendships from the other ladies that are volunteering with her right now. They look forward to seeing each other. They keep each other informed on events and activities that are going on. So when they have something going on at the community center, they're like, "Oh, are you coming?" And they're organizing, they're getting together. These are two ladies she would have never met before. Hands down, there's no reason that they would have ever met before. But now she has two additional friends that she talks on the phone with and gives information to. And again, my mom is a senior. She's on a walker. She doesn't drive. But she wanted to get out the house. And this is one of the ways she's doing it now. And funny as it is, she's taking this information back to her friends at her apartment. So now they're talking about it and trying to organize and see ways that they can get out and do the same type of service. See, it's infectious. And this is the good infectious, because it starts to... Again, I talked about the article, socialization. That's one of the benefits of volunteering. It keeps you healthy. It keeps you happy. It keeps you looking forward to something when you may not have had something else to look forward to. So do it.
Thank you. My amazing, giving, soulful guest, Christy English, who is the manager of Volunteer and Community Outreach for Focus Hope. And this is about the work that she does, but it's another way for our community to find its wellness. This is another way that we can serve one another. And so let me throw out a couple of other ideas before we close today. You can pick up trash in front of your house and your neighbor's house, because sometimes what we call blight is an opportunity for us to make things right. So we can go from blight to right. And being able to look at wellness through a different lens. Wellness is about feeling good about where you are, who you are, and the people around you. So we can do small things in big ways that make big impact. So we can't put a dollar amount on it, but when you work with organizations, your volunteer time equates to volunteer hours or in-kind contributions. So that's a very important piece, that if you don't have money to contribute to your favorite organization, this is another way that you can do it. You can provide in-kind contributions, because imagine delivering 41,000 food boxes every month. That's a lot of manpower. So, and a lot of that manpower is from community who says that we're going to take this, we're going to help share this burden, share this load. That's a part of community wellness. It helps for you, for your health and your well-being, but also those who serve and benefit from your time and effort. So don't hold back. Don't let stress and other things prevent you from giving in a way that is good for your soul, because it's not just you, it's all of us. It's our community wellness. So I want to make sure that I had a chance to say that and thank our guests for being here. I also want to extend to you that it may be looking for opportunities to advertise or to share upcoming events, that you might want to reach out to Valerie, who is our sponsor. Detroit Native Sun News is one of our sponsors for the show. So please reach out to Valerie at 313-457-5944 if you're looking for ways to advertise or to share upcoming events. Very important tool that we have that's a community resource. And also I want to thank our executive producer, Sharon Dumas, my co-host, Darren Griffin, who you'll see next Tuesday, and our amazing engineer, Patrick, who helps us make sure that this show goes on and well. You can also reach me. I am Heather Hetheru, your personal change coach, at yourinspiredjourney.com. Again, that's www.yourinspiredjourney.com. You can also find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Reach out. Let's keep this community wellness intact, and let's make it grow and make the impact that we need to make sure that each of us has an opportunity for wellness. I thank you for being a part of our show today. For those of you who are live on Instagram, for those of you who are in our viewing audience, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing and connecting with you very soon.